Welcome to my session of SAP for beginners. We are starting chapter 11 and we are continuing discussing on the material master different views. In my opinion, material master different views are critical because that gives you the idea how material master is used in different kind of modules and impact into the business configuration. Material master different view, whatever we are discussing, we have actually taken care in the first two sections, which is chapter 9 and chapter 10. We have taken care of the different views pertaining to the sales organization. Then we have talked about the then we talked about the PP, and we have touched upon some amount of material planning and area. Today I am going little bit more detail on the storage location area, which is called plant related material master data view. So today we will in immediate previous schedule we talked about work scheduling, and work scheduling we saw that how the MRP and the schedule activity is made in such a way that the plan can be generated for a optimum supply chain management of the product. We are continuing our description with this LCD TV 40-inch example, and let's go back to the next section, which is the planned data storage one view. So why it is important? Because in planned data, where and how the materials are stored, and when and how they are being retrieved, how they are used, and how these uses are being monitored, those are extremely important and need to be configured correctly. Now, in the first view, which is the storage one view, you can see that we have a choice to maintain what is unit of issue. Then, what is unit of issue? We have so far seen that there is a basic unit in which material is manufactured. There is a basic unit in which material is stored. But here the material unit of issue is in which unit from the storage location this can be removed. This can be issued to the production line actually. I mean, as far as the within the plant there are many storage location, and from any storage location you are taking out the material. What unit of issue you will consider? Whether you will consider liter, whether you consider pieces, whether you consider kg or the lot. Those are important. So that unit you have to mention here. Then next important point, what is the temperature condition? That is, what is the atmospheric condition in which the material has to be stored. Then the storage condition required by the material is the next important, which is the third point they have mentioned. And then container requirement. So container requirement is sometimes it is depending upon the size of the item. You may require a bigger container sometimes, and the bin size and appropriate size. So container requirement is important. Size and shape. Then you need to in the portion which is the below portion of this box, there are a lot of information for the shelf life data. Shelf life means every material, particularly if it is a perishable material, they have a maximum shelf life. So we want that a material cannot be stored here. So if you are stored in a material with a particular retaining shelf life value, and in case the shelf life gets over, if you are creating a production order and you want to use that material, SAP will not allow you to use the material. The material will be unavailable. They will be available for some kind of rework, some kind of value addition, or maybe they may be available for scrapping, but they will not be available for any kind of production usage actually. So this is one important parameter. Then we also need to see that in case the shelf life needs to be maintained in days, then you mention in the next column, which is SLED column, you have to mention D for daily, M for monthly, and so on and so forth. You can mention there actually. So this is about planned data storage 1, and in planned data storage 2, the critical parameters are actually there are two kind of parameters. You see, maximum data is already coming from the previous section. Basic data and sales data view, the maximum data is coming here, and the only parameter which an optional parameter which can put what is the volume and the volume unit actually. But because in this example we are talking about television, so volume is of no use. So this parameter, this is as of now it is kept blank. But for other kind of material where the liquid or some kind of gaseous material is to be stored, volume becomes important actually. Then we come to warehouse management one view. Before telling that, let me explain. SAP has a module called SAP Warehouse Management Module, WM module, and for configuring the program in that module, the master data requirement is also the material master, and whatever basic requirement is there for those the data which need to be entered or the unit or the parameters need to be maintained is to be maintained in this particular view. So what SAP does here, it allows some parameters which are mandatory, but one has to please remember that warehouse management is very complicated module of SAP, and without adequate knowledge or adequate consultant support, implementing warehouse management and filling up the material master data may be damaging for the business. So when you fill up this portion of the thing, you need to consult the warehouse management consultant and then put the data, because many of the things are not as simple as it appears to be. They have got other implication on the warehouse. Warehouse management module generally ensure that the available space in the shop floor or available place in the factory is optimally used, and therefore this module is very critical module. So some of the parameters which comes, you see the plant and warehouse number is very critical parameter here, because every plant and the warehouse number, which is actually plays an important role in the managing of the material. In case there is a central warehouse you are choosing, which is 001, so all facility of warehouse management comes there. But if you choose some other item which is not a central item, but maybe some other warehouse you choose, maybe all functions are not there actually. Then you need to think of the what is the warehouse management unit. So warehouse management unit is, so suppose you have, in the earlier example, if you remember, we actually created pieces of the delivery. But in the warehouse, when you and we have created the warehouse management unit as pallet. Here, the unit automatically pallet will come. So that means one pallet will consist of 12 pieces. So that formula will be there in the SAP, and here the pallet will come actually. So whatsoever you can create in the other unit of area, when you store in warehouse, the unit of measure has to be the unit by which warehouse can manage the product. So the pallet will come here. Similarly, unit of issue we have already discussed in storage one view is plays very important role here, because unit of issue is how many at any point of time, how many you are issuing from that particular storage, that has to be decided and put there. Then there is something, the warehouse management module gives another way where they can propose the unit of measure actually. So in case if this is on, that means if this is given, depending upon the delivery order, depending upon the reservation we have made or sales order, system gives a suggestion what should be the accurate warehouse unit of measure for this particular product to handle in warehouse. Then there is another important parameter which is stock removal strategy. What is stock removal strategy? So, stock, as I told you, warehouse management is configured in such a way that the stocks are optimally managed inside the warehouse. Therefore, stock removal strategy, this particular point, you can actually decide that what kind of strategy you are take. So you can see that storage strategies, there is stock removal strategy you can put there, storage selection indicator you can put there, any kind of special movement you can put there, stock placement strategy you can put there, and bulk storage. So these figures, I am not going into big detail, but these are all warehouse management modules portion. So that we along with the consultant of warehouse management, you need to configure that, and this master data has to be filled up there actually. In the warehouse management 2 view, which is the next slot, the one important parameter is the storage type, because in previous, if you remember, plant and warehouse number we entered. Here the important thing which comes with the storage type. In the storage type, if we are extending or maintaining the material in this particular warehouse, in this particular warehouse, and if they have a shelf life or something, accordingly a strategy for the storage and the storage type has to be mentioned over here actually. Then there is something called palletization data. Palletization data means I was telling you that one pallet is equal to 12 pieces. That formula has to be written somewhere. This is the place where you write that formula. So you are writing that 12 LE quantity is the palletization data quantity. That means how many 12 number of pieces TV can be kept in one pallet. So that formula is written here. Excuse me. Then there is maximum storage bin is another important conception, because in storage bin you need to write down that in what is the type of storage bin and what is the particular way you can measure. So similarly, maximum bin quantity, minimum bin quantity, replenishment quantity, all these data you need to enter here so that that warehouse management module can work accordingly. I am going to another important area, which is quality management module. Master data is used. I told you in the first one or two slides that master data is used for all modules of SAP. So quality management plays a very important module in SAP, which takes care of the incoming quality inspection, in-process inspection, quality inspection, also the finished good quality inspection. And depending upon the inspection status, you can either allow that material to go forward, or you can reject the material, or you can hold or block the material so that this cannot be processed in future. So to do this, your material master also should be aligned in such a way that whatever changes are needed or whatever commands are needed to be done by the program, the material master should be able to, if you select that as and when required. So there are certain parameters in master data where these we have to be very carefully insert, so that the program, when it looks for those parameters, they can choose the exact condition here there. So the first and most important parameter in this is inspection setup. So inspection setup is actually, I will go little above the inspections. Okay, I am okay. So inspection setup is actually set up by a quality management consultant to decide what kind of inspection you are going to do. You can choose the inspection for in-process inspection. You can choose the inspection for a sample kind of inspection. You can choose the inspection for only the maybe only a fixed numbers of interval inspection. So you can decide all those inspection type. The moment you actually click this button, it will allow you to put the inspection type. And in the SAP, you can maintain 02 is one kind of inspection, 01 is one kind of inspection, and that data you'll have to put there. Accordingly, when the goods will, after the goods will be manufactured, or when the goods will be procured, or when the goods will be ready, it will be subject to those kind of inspection, and somebody has to go to SAP system and somebody has to confirm production, like they do the production confirmation. Similarly, they have to do the quality inspection confirmation and say that this step has been taken care of, and therefore we are going forward actually. So this is something, is the quality inspection setup is important. And the configuration wise, wherever you see a green tag, the green tag means that you have configured something, you click mark. So you click mark that, and that gets saved, and the next step is available actually. Then post the inspection stock you make, you can actually there you can mention that you can materially quality inspection is over, you need to post that information to the main database, which will ensure that the quality is done actually. And after quality checking, there are other settings are also available. Like for instance, you can do the inspection interval, which will tell you that if there is a recurring inspection is there for a particular batch. I explained in the previous module, batch is something where similar kind of materials are manufactured continuously. So a particular batch, it may not be possible to do inspection of every item. So you can decide that after how many items, how many inspections you are actually trying to do that, and that you can add actually. So inspection interval, if if you tick mark QM in procurement active, then wherever items are being procured, as soon after doing the GRN, before issue in the store or before store in being in the system, this quality module will be activated, and somebody has to do the quality clearance for that also. And then in quality, QM certification is one of the important, because certification gives us an opportunity to decide or declare the status of the quality inspection, and therefore those certificate type also you can put the material. So if you put the certificate type, it will give you opportunity to also mention whether the vendor is following a particular type of quality management module like ISO 9001, ISO 13001. You can put that, and that will be checked before ensuring that that is done. So where it is done in quality management. There is a quality management module. The certificate type is there. Target QM system is there, and QM control key is there. You need to update this information there. Then I will come to the next important section, which is the accounting view. So as I told you that we are doing business for the one of the purpose of the business is that we should be able to find out what is the cost which we are incurring in making the product, and we should be also able to declare that at what price we are buying and what is the revenue we are generating out of that. So accounting view is that view in Material Master, which actually is very important because it's used by the FICO team members, and they want these accounting view data to be set up when the master data is made actually. And so there are some, again similarly, some of the data will come by default from the previous settings. The general data will come, and in the accounting view valuation area, some of the data will have to put. So first data is valuation class. What is valuation class? Valuation class is actually there you can decide one particular product to be valuated in a particular manner in finance. That means if the same product, let's say for instance, I am buying, let's say very simple thing, let's say I am buying petrol. If I am buying petrol for the purpose in a factory where petrol is used as a raw material in my product, then the valuation will be at one way. We can accounting will be done in one way. If the petrol is used as a one of the ingredient, no, but not raw material, but as some kind of byproduct or some kind of bought out material, the valuation will be done will be different. If the petrol is used for the purpose of doing any kind of auxiliary activity, then the valuation will be different. So you can decide here that what should be the valuation type, and that valuation class you can mention here. Once you mention the valuation class, it will allow you to stock the material in that particular way, because valuation class is also related to how you are stocking and how you are taking the control. Next important and very important part is the price control. Price control is, you see, this is price control. Price control is can be S or V. What is S? S is standard. So let's take an example. Let's say we are buying, in our example of television, we are buying diode. So if you are buying diode continuously, and we are updating the figure with the last purchase order figure, we can put the control as S, because you know what is the last purchase price that is coming and sitting there. But suppose you want to find a moving average. I hope you people know what is moving average. Moving average is the whatever you have purchased, the quantity multiplied by unit rate you find out, and first last 3, 4 or 1 year purchase price, like that you do, and one moving average you price down. If you put it in V, instead of storing the price control as the standard last purchase order, it will take as a moving average price there. So it is important for from the business to business how you are doing the price control. But yes, this is very important, and you have to put the price control either S or V as required actually. So I show you where it is there. It is here, price control S V. If it is moving price, if it is so in that case you have to do the moving price enter here, and the standard price will appear here actually. Okay. So now you come to accounting view 2. Not very much use unless you can put the tax portion of that, and the commercial price you can put that. It is as of now it is not very important for us actually. Then the important part is the costing. So yeah, costing means, what is costing? When you are using one material in SAP for the purpose of production, you need to find out how much actually cost you are incurring to do the production. So in Material Master, there are certain fields which you need to mention, which will need to populate or which will have to tick mark, which will be helping you to do the costing. So the first field which comes in our mind, which is mandatory field, is field number one, which is do not cost. If that field is if that field is activated, then the material will never be costed. Now, in the point number two, when you come there, it is actually with quantity structure. If we want to use the quantity structure data for cost estimation, then we'll have to tick mark this actually. If we have to use the material number, whatever material number is assigned to the cost element should come directly to the CO module. That means, let's give an example. One cost element is, I explained into the FICO area. The cost element is nothing but where we are capturing the cost on a particular production. So if we want material master data directly to the cost element and assign, and it gets always costed, we can actually tick mark here, and that material origin will come to the CO module actually. If there is any variance key is what? Variance key is that in when you do the costing, there are many variants you can create. It can be variant on beyond of the last buy. It can be variant on beyond of the one of the different standards of the production. There can be many variant of costing. So there can be, primarily there are two variants which are very important. One is actually one is cost the profit center wise costing, another is cost center wise costing. So even those also come here. So that variance key, if you want to decide, you have to put the figure over there, and that particular point, whatever variance key is there, that has to be updated over here actually. So when you are actually going in little detail and go to the CO module configuration, you will actually see this in more detail. So in costing 2, in the valuation data, as I was telling, the valuation class will come directly from the costing 1 view. Valuation category you have to maintain here. Price control will come whatever you have mentioned there, S or V, and price unit will come automatically. Maybe the moving price you'll have to, and standard price you'll have to populate here as required actually. I think purchasing view we have already spoken earlier, because purchasing group I did not say, I mentioned that purchasing group is important. So I will tell you what exactly is purchasing group. So suppose there is a purchase department, and in purchase department there are 4 or 5 different buyers. Somebody buys raw material, somebody buys electronics, somebody buys computer, somebody buys assets. So purchasing group are those selection depending upon the business, of course, which you can mention, which is used by that particular group of buyers. So that purchasing group you can create over here actually. And also the order unit means when you are buying something, in which quantity you are actually doing the order. That order unit, like he has mentioned pallet here, that unit you can mention here actually. And then another view is the next important view is the already we have discussed this taxation area, country of origin, and other thing. Another is the text view. In purchase order, when you have prepared, you have an opportunity of writing the short description in the first line, and also you have opportunity of writing the free flow text, whether the purchasing text view can be coming there. In addition to that, there are certain additional data also you put, but those data are depending upon the language we are using. Suppose this material is used for some other country, so you can choose another language. So instead of writing in LCD TV for that country, in suppose here it is chosen France, so in French that description will be written there. So those kind of things are also coming. So in short, if we see, material master plays a very important role, and I thought that different views of material master need to be explained as a part of the SAP training, because this material master is these views are playing an important role in different program SD, PP, MM, and in material master there are different tables actually. I am not going to the detail of the table. Maybe in some other video I will go there. And in those tables, these data are maintained actually. So it is necessary for, in case you are using a third-party master data team, like SAP MDM or anything, it is important for you to understand that how the material master is configured and how your third-party master data tool can come and stay there. Like I have explained for material master, these views, there are views for the vendor master also, for the customer master also, but today I decided to talk of only material master. So in some other opportunity, I will talk of the vendor master and the customer master as well. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. I will stop the session here itself. Thank you very much. Thank you.